Hello class 10th. Hope you all are good. Now children, today we'll start a new chapter, that is your nervous system, right? And this is a really a very interesting chapter. And in this chapter, today we will learn about what is nervous system, what are its function, and the structure of neuron and its function, right? Let's start first. What is nervous system?
In our body, there are two main systems which control and coordinate the different activities of millions of smaller cells, body organs, etc. And first is one is your endocrine system, and second is your nervous system. And so, what is nervous system? The system that controls and coordinates all the activities of various body parts in response to external and internal stimuli, whatever is happening outside and inside our body by the conduction of nerve impulses is called nervous system. And endocrine system works by the release of chemical messengers, but they are called hormones, right? So these are the two important systems which which control all the activities of our body. Okay, now what are the functions of nervous system? What is the need of nervous system? Actually, nervous system keep us informed about what is happening inside outside the world, right? By the various sense organs, and it also keep us informed about the internal environment of the body, right? Second is it help in thinking, reasoning, memory, emotions, right? And also they all are controlled by this nervous system. And third is it control all the voluntary activities, or it control and coordinates all voluntary muscular activities of our body. Voluntary muscular activities means the muscular activities which are under our control, right? And nervous system also regulate involuntary activities, muscular activities such as beating of heart and breathing. They are also controlled by nervous system. So these are the main functions of nervous system. Children, these are some terms which are used in this chapter, nervous system. So try to understand these one. First is stimulus. What is stimulus? It is an agent or a change in the external or internal environment that induces reaction in the body. Means these are any agent or change which provoke or causes an action, right? So, or simply you can say which causes a response or reaction is called stimulus. For example, suppose when if a child fail in maths, what he will do? Means he needed to work harder, or he needed or start practicing math sums more. So that is your failing is a stimulus, and your working hard is your response. The same way, suppose you are on the road and it start raining. So rain is and then what you will do? You just run away from, either you use umbrella or you come under the shade. So rain is a stimulus, right? And you are using umbrella, that is your response. Understood? So what is stimulus? It is an agent or change in the external or internal environment. Well, any change which occurs outside your body or inside your body which makes you to react or response, that is called stimulus. Next is your response. You know what is response? It is a change in the activity in the body of an organism due to stimulus. And stimulus, the plural of stimulus is stimuli. Okay. Now next is your receptor. Receptor is a nerve cell or an organ which is capable of perceiving the stimuli. For example, you saw a snake on the road, right? So your eyes are receptor which saw snake, right? And
then what's happened? This message goes to your brain. Then your brain gives order to your legs to run away from that place. Your eyes is your receptor and legs are your effector. Right? The same way, suppose when you touch a hot plate, then your skin or of your hand is a receptor. Right? Next is your effector, the body parts such as muscles or glands which act according to the orders given by the central nervous system, that is your brain or spinal cord. For example, simply suppose you saw your friend is eating a chocolate or he is eating आमला, ठीक है, क्या होता है, मुंह में पानी आ जाता है ना, तो that पानी कैसे आया? That your salivary glands, they start secreting saliva. So means you saw with your eyes. Eyes are receptor, and the brain gives order to your salivary glands to secrete saliva. So these salivary glands are your effector, right? Now next is your impulse. Impulse is actually simply, it is a wave of irritability like the conduction of an electric current through a copper wire. Means impulses in simple language, it is actually the messages or the information which are transmitted through the nerve impulses from receptor to effector, or from receptor to nervous system, and then from nervous system to effector. These messages, they are or these informations, these are what called impulses, right? Now next is your irritability. Irritability is simply you can say it is a characteristics of living organisms is being aware of and being able to respond to. Means whatever you are responding to the stimuli, that is called what? Irritability.
Now you can easily understand the nervous system consists of main three parts, that is your brain, spinal cord and nerves. You know that the nervous system, it perceives various stimuli and convert them into impulses, that is your messages, and convey these impulses to the controlling center, that is your brain and spinal cord. Now in the brain and spinal cord, these impulses are converted into orders and which are then carried to the effector. And who carry these impulses? These are nerves. So these are the three main parts of nervous system: brain, spinal cord and nerves. These nerves or they are also called neurons. These are highly specialized cells of nervous system, and they are also these neurons are actually, you can say, these are the structural and functional unit of nervous system, right? And the neurons are able to perform these specialized functions because of the two main properties, that is called irritability and conductivity. Neuron consists of three main parts. First is your cell body, it is also called perikaryon or cyton, and second is your dendrites, and third is your axon. Now just look at here. First is what is cyton or cell body. The main part of neuron is cell body, and what it is called cyton or perikaryon, and it is bounded from the outside by a simple cell membrane, just like a simple cell, because nerve cell is also you have read in earlier classes that in our body the longest cell is nerve cell. So nerve cell or neuron is actually cell, and it contains all the cell organelles except this centrosome. And this is the reason a nerve cell does not have ability to divide, right? And the cytoplasm present in cell body is called neuroplasm, right? And it also contains nucleus. Okay, now next is your dendrites. These are one to many highly branched but small projection arising from the cyton, and they conduct nerve impulses from synapse towards the cell body. Now next is your axon. From the cyton arises always one very long process, what it is called axon. And at the end of the axon, we will find some small branches and these branches are called nerve endings or nerve terminals or axon terminals. Okay, now let's see how the nerve cells function. Nerve cells help us in transmission of information from one part to another part of our body. Let us understand this with the help of an example. We see an object, that is suppose this tree, with our eyes, and the visual information of that object is to be carried to our brain to recognize that object. Now the question is how the information is carried from an eye to brain, and that is by the nerve cells. The dendrites of the neuron, they receive the information and the axon passes these information to the next neuron, and then the dendrites of a neuron, by receiving the information they start a chemical reaction that generate an electric impulse, and this electric impulse travels from the dendrite to the cell body and then along the axon, and finally it reaches the nerve endings, right? And the nerve endings are not directly connected to the other neuron because there is a gap, and that gap is called what? Or junction, or this junction is called what? Synapse. What it is called? The nerve endings of one nerve is not directly connected to the dendrite of another nerve. Okay, there is a gap, and this gap is called synapse. Now the question arises how these electric impulses they pass from one neuron to another neuron. Actually, these axon terminals, they have bulb-like structures, and what that is called? Synaptic node, which have certain chemicals, and these chemicals are called neurotransmitter. As the impulse reaches the terminal end of the axon, actually the neurotransmitter named as acetylcholine is released, which sets new impulses in the dendrite of the next neuron, right? And in this way these information or impulses transmit from one neuron to another neuron and reach to the target cell or brain or that organ, right? Hope you have understood the function of neuron. Okay, now thank you children. Now next part of this chapter we will continue in the next video. Thank you.